Started dialysis in 2001, December. Been on dialysis for 12 years, and sort of seen as a healthy patient, and have managed my life around that. Almost 2 years ago, I started itching, but very subtly and not linking it to anything specific. So yes, I haven't been battling with it for long, but it's now started affecting my day-to-day life. When I itch, it's so intense that you need to almost have nails on you to get any type of relief, because it feels like phosphorus under your skin. It's not on top of the skin, it's underneath. And as you scratch, it almost moves away and comes back as you stop scratching. I often scratch until I start making my skin bleed. Knowing that I'm scratching so badly, you can't stop yourself. And the only way I get a bit of relief is by putting my hands, or wherever it's, not that I can put my whole body, but trying to cool the skin down. So under very cold water, which eases it for a while, but then it starts coming back again. I wake up at night, maybe once or twice, and scratch myself, which is obviously disruptive with my husband sleeping. And he's the only breadwinner, so he needs his sleep. But before that, to get to sleep is even a problem, because you get in and you need to scratch. So you never get to that quiet time to drop off to sleep. So what's been happening is that either my husband goes to bed first and then I come to bed later. But then I wake up at night and scratch, put the light on in the bathroom, or which then disrupts him, and he has to try to get back to sleep, and then it starts all over again. I can't go to sleep without scratching. So it's a vicious cycle. So what's been happening is that I've been moving into the other, thank goodness I have a guest bedroom, which I sleep in when it's really bad. But that obviously, I've been married for 20 years, so I shouldn't complain about sleeping in a different bed, but we aren't ready to sleep in separate bedrooms. So it's a very subtle psychological distance that starts getting created, because there's no spontaneity just to be together. So many people have very little time to talk to each other. So those few words at night before you fall asleep is now not there either. So it does impact very subtly, but it's something you do think about. I recognized signs in myself of becoming depressed. I didn't want to do much during the day. I'd rather just sit and watch telly. Whereas I'm a very active person. I've got kids, and I'm a reflexologist, and I'm busy all the time. And I sort of thought, well, I just can't stand. I'd rather just maybe concentrate on not itching. And I stopped eating because I was becoming afraid of eating the wrong thing to make it worse, because I was at the point where I didn't want it to get any worse because it was so bad. So in turn, I didn't have enough energy during the day because I wasn't eating enough. A piece of toast with syrup on every few hours is not going to get you anywhere. So, which then impacts on the rest of the dialysis treatment, because you then lose weight and your fluid content goes haywire. So I knew that was becoming an issue. And, on a bad day, with being hormonal, you can think, well, I don't know how long I can deal with this. Is it going to be like this forever? And for a dialysis patient, it is forever. I would try not wear a bra, because the constant contact on my skin was driving me up the wall. And even on dialysis, you're sitting for 4 hours. I didn't want to put my back against the rest because that would make me itch. So I would sneak out of the lounge or just to try and scratch. And if you had to go to the restaurant, you can't sit there scratching. People would really start looking. So yeah, it does take control of, and I think that's what spurred the depression, because I've always been stronger than my illness, and I've never been a sick person, but it was making me feel sick. Finally, out of pure desperation, I grabbed my husband's belt the one day. It was an old belt that was just lying in the bin, actually. And I thought, well, I'm so itchy. I need to get to reach all the spots on my back, because your hand can only go a certain area. So I grabbed this belt, and it's got very subtle sort of raised sections on it, which it doesn't damage my skin, but it helps move that itchiness away or aside. And I start from the top and I move down. And by the time I get down, it's moved up again. So I start from the top again. So it looks terrible, which again, you feel like you're a monkey, or you feel conscious of yourself. Even in front of my partner, no one wants to see themselves scratching like that. So it then becomes a secretive thing, and I would sneak off while they're watching telly to go and scratch myself because I can't stand it anymore. So it's an insidious thing. For quite a long time, I've used E45 cream just as a maintenance thing for dry skin, and never thought that could ease it, which it hasn't, because I tried, I use it every day and it makes no difference. I've tried the E45 scratch cream, which did nothing. I think there's also another type of cream called uremic. Also, did nothing. It sort of healed the skin where I was scratching, but it wasn't stopping the itch. One of the nurses said, why don't I try antihistamine? And I've been on the pruritus. That didn't seem to do anything.